happy to come into your living room or your office or into your earbuds in the car and be with you in these next few minutes to bring you inspiration, education, and healing. Because you can do it. You are the doctor, you are the therapist. I'm just a messenger here. And I'm thrilled and always happy to be learning what I learn and bring it to you and try to break it down into basics, into ways that you can apply and implement, because we all know the knowledge. We have enormous, enormous knowledge. It's about applying it not on the yoga mat, but when we most need it, when we're stressed, when we're triggered. Okay, here you go. I love talking about the 6 F's from Dr. Schubiner. Fear, focus, frustration. Go ahead. Fixing it, figuring it out, and fighting it. So we don't want to fear it, be frustrated, focus on it, figure it out, fight it, or fix it. We don't really want to do that, but this is what we do. So I'm here to teach you how to use these automatic reactions to serve us. How can we use our fear, our frustration, our fighting, or figuring it out to help us get ahead? Because that's why we educate about that. And that's why Schubiner talks about it, and Gordon talks about it. And even Sarner talked about it in his own vocabulary. Okay, we know the fear fuels it. We understand the fear of pain cycle. I talk about it a lot and will continue because it's repetition, repetition, repetition. And when this becomes your language, you will not be a victim of chronic pain and autoimmune disease. You will be on top of things. And you're getting there step by step. Important not to fear it. And yet, as I always say, you can have a discomfort. You can have a discomfort with it. You cannot like it, but you don't have to have the fear pain cycle. You need to understand your brain is protecting you, not punishing you. So putting fear into perspective and to believe that you are stronger than your pain. This is all part of the fear pain dialogue. Focus. Now, focus is an interesting thing. Do we focus on it, doc, or not? Look, PRT and somatic tracking is a relationship with it. Let's have a relationship with it, not fear it. And so it doesn't become bigger than us. We understand that it's in our brain. We understand the power we have over it. And so there's a focus on it in a way to see it through a lens of safety, see it that it can't hurt you, learn to respond to it when you focus on it. And so it doesn't become a trigger. There's many ways to approach it. Something interesting called provocative testing. Dr. Schubiner talks about this, but I'm going to break it down for you. Here's an example that he gave us. There was a woman who had her jaw broken. And so for years, she couldn't even put the window up in the car or down because the air would freak her jaw out. She couldn't be outside. She couldn't be around winter. I think she lived in Chicago. Point taken is that he talked to her about that it was in her brain and that it was the fear. And he literally put an ice pack on her chin and to provoke it, to provoke the pain, that she could see that she could be with the sensation and it wasn't going to hurt her, that she could put the window down, have the wind on her jaw, and it wouldn't hurt her. So you can focus on it and be like, okay, pain. You know, I had a client, I had a show with Ozzy from Turkey, and he had ankylosing spondylitis, which he overcame and recovered and has no pain. And he'd be like, okay, bring it on. Come on, pain. You can't hurt me. So it becomes this interesting relationship with your voices, with your pain, that you're not scared of it, that you can welcome it, that you can invite it into the gym. You can kind of put it into perspective like that and have this different response rather than react relationship with your pain. Fear, focus, figuring it out, fighting it, fixing it, frustrating with it. These are the other ways that we naturally react because we want to protect, and that's what our brain does. But I don't want you to believe that your brain is controlling you. You can control your brain. You can understand what's happening and respond. And that's what this unlearn your pain, unlearn your anxiety, it's all about, that we are not a victim of this pain. And if we understand our unconscious mind, our deeper feelings, our repressed feelings, which is a whole nother part of this, but now we're going to keep focusing. Fear, focus, frustration, fixing, figuring it out, fighting it. When we try to fight it, our brain perceives a threat and wants to protect us. Is there a line coming? Is there a fire coming? What do I need to do? So we have to understand our inner beings and how we are with our symptoms and our pain. That's a mindful act. That's awareness. I wanted to talk about something very important, and I'll actually put a chart up on my Facebook page about being and doing, because when we learn how to be and not do, we're not fixing it, that we're not fighting it, we're understanding our frustration with it, and we're in this being mode. And this is part of the mindful calming. This is part of being in our parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest. And this is what Hanscom will talk about in our threat safety, understanding that we can always bring safety and calm the body down. We can always activate the vagus nerve by breathing and different vagal toning exercises, tap into our inner pharmacy, bring out the cannabis, bring out the endorphins, bring out the opioids, the natural painkillers, just to reduce the inflammation that we're creating by stress, by being triggered. So this is kind of a way, when we look at the 6 F's, that we can put them in perspective. So the being and doing is, I understand, like, you can be successful at your career and your family successful and your relationships are successful, but I'm not successful with this pain. And so if we can take on a more compassion, a more grace, a more understanding, and a being relationship, being in the moment, not being in the past, not being in the future, pulling ourselves back into the moment, trusting. This is all part of the body and mind. So when we talk about the 6 F's, fear, focus, frustration, figuring it out, fighting it, trying to fix it. Did I repeat that? When we understand our relationship and our triggers, this is how we can be our own doctor and our own therapist. I'm always talking about that and bringing you resources and inspiration on my channel and through my Facebook page and through my newsletter. Tomorrow we're having an amazing show with a gentleman named Helmer. I can't pronounce his last name. Healed through Sarno methods, many years of IBS and food sensitivities and enormous pain and anxiety. And we're going to talk about how we're going to apply these 6 F's and how we're going to continue to inspire you and educate you. So stay with me. We'll meet you here each week. Sometimes I'll pop in on these little singles and say hello and reach out to you and send you my blessings from my home to your home. All the best.